So we've got a few people joining in. Just going to give them a chance to join in so we can start off our webinar. It's a pleasure to have you with us for this live webinar, Mary. And I'm just going to say hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for our live webinar, The Psychology Behind High-Performing Landing Pages. I am Sarah Robson, CSMS at Legend DigiTech, and I'll be your host for today's session. We're very excited to be joined by Mary Brandswell, Neuromarketing Specialist and founder of INN Association. And today's conversation is especially relevant because in a market where attention spans are shorter and competition is higher than ever, it's really important to understand buyer psychology and build trust to stand out. And that's why we've got our guest speaker, Mary Brandswell, here. Handing over to you, Mary.
All right. First, thanks a lot for the invitation. I'm super happy to say that customer behavior has, it has been part of our lives without us even realizing. And I'm super happy that this has becoming more evident in marketing, because nowadays, all we talk about is AI. AI can handle execution, can make things faster. But at the end of the day, our customers are always going to be humans, So if we don't understand the brain of the customers, we are going to be behind. So super happy to be having this conversation. And thanks for having me here.
Pleasure.
So you'd like me to just start the presentation, right? I think it's
absolutely
we waited for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so I will just share my screen. Just confirm if you can see it. Give me just a second. And that's it. Right, so you should be seeing my
absolutely
presentation.
I can see it.
The first over. Yeah. All right, lovely. Okay, so as Sarah said, we are going to be talking about the psychology behind high-performing landing pages. But we are going to talk a bit more, because obviously I do have to give a bit of context about, marketing psychology and what has been happening in this landscape. So I would like to start with this quote or sentence that it's very hard, to attribute this quote to specific, like a specific person, because we've seen this quote like in many ways, different ways, said in a variety of ways. But well, the thing is, you might have heard this, that people buy with emotions and justify with logic, right? So I'm sure you've heard any variation of this sentence, this quote. And what this means is that human beings, so we as customers, or even, just people in general, we don't make decisions rationally first. We think we do, but we don't. So our brain is always, is constantly scanning for different things. We are going to talk today about 4 kind of signals that we usually take into consideration for behavior science, because these are kind of the most relevant and most important, let's say, than our brain consider before making a decision, right? So, and this is one of the reasons why in neuromarketing, and I'm going to be talking about this as well, what is neuromarketing, what is behavioral science? This is one of the reasons why in neuromarketing, we don't really believe in standard surveys, for example, because when you are taking a survey, you think you are responding to it with your reasons, your real reasons, but actually you don't know what really made you make those reasons. If you know what I mean, if I'm explaining myself well. So basically, we don't know. Sometimes obviously we do have some reasons to choose stuff, but we do have subconscious reasons behind these decisions that we are not even aware of. Right, so these signals we are going to be talking about today are safety, risk reduction, clarity, and cognitive ease, which is how easy it is for your brain to process information, emotional reward, and social validation. Right, so these are the 4 things that we are going to be breaking down today and learning how these things are important to make your landing page convert better. So why is it important, to understand behavior science when building landing pages? customers nowadays, obviously we all know that the attention span is getting shorter and shorter. We've been bombarded by notifications, real life happening everywhere. So kids behind around us work and multiple tasks. So our attention span is getting shorter and shorter. So you are actually, when your customers land on your landing page, they are not going to be fully available, relaxed, and in silence, and having like 2 hours to analyze your landing page and to understand what you are offering them. So what we say in neuromarketing is that they are actually scanning for reasons to leave instead of reasons to stay. So our job as marketers and as UX designers, as business, founders, business designers, is to make sure we build these landing pages in a way that it's going to be irresistible for their brain to stay with us and to understand what we are offering and what benefits they will have, with staying with us and buying our products. So every single color, every single layout decision, I would say every single detail on your landing page is going to tell a story. And sometimes you don't even realize that, most people I came across, most founders, let's say, that I've talked to, especially the ones that are like early stage, or startups, that they don't have like a UX, they don't have like a team thinking about, design and the psychological part of the design. They just think about landing page as being beautiful. So if the colors are nice, if the images are kind of fancy, they are nice images, we've got loads of buttons in there for people to click, this is okay. And it's incredible because I keep seeing this happening like every single week. People still think beauty is the most important thing for landing pages, and it's not. And not just talking about landing page, homepage is the same, but today we are talking about specifically this part. So every single color, every layout decision, every CTA placement. So where you put your bottom, where if you have testimonials, if they are photos or if they are videos, the headlines, the spacing choice or the padding, if you leave more space or less space, each image can have an impact on the viewer. And each one of these features, each one of these details, they can reduce psychological resistance. So if you look at Apple, so obviously, there are some companies that they are very known for really, really using customer behavior, strategies. They really look into the psychology of people. So why people are making this decision, why they are feeling this, and what can we do to make them buy more. Apple is a big one. You can see here one of the examples of one of their landing pages. And what they are selling here is they are visually clean. We are going to look into this, the clarity, the very low overload, cognitive overload. And with this, we feel safer, we feel emotionally connected, we feel the emotion status as well that Apple brings to us. While if you do something like this, you are going to increase the psychological resistance. So if you look at these two pages, probably all of us are going to agree that both of them, they look outdated to start with. First one here, so much information. And it's crazy to see that there are still many companies doing not exactly like this. This is a bit of like, it's an exaggeration, but there are many companies doing things similar to this, many colors, a lot of information, a lot of photos. So you don't even know where to look at. You get so overwhelmed that you don't even know how, what they are selling or what are the benefits of they are selling. This one here, it's a bit, it's clear, right? So it's not so overwhelming, the one corrects. But at the same time, if you are talking about a tech product, or a software, you would expect then to have more techy features. You would expect them to have a better messaging. You wouldn't expect to have like a fake photo, clearly fake photo here for the reveal. And so these are like small things. Obviously, as I said, these two here are kind of exaggerating a bit, but it's just for people to understand that every single thing, the messaging that is there, the order of the blocks, so if you have the reviews, above the just below the fold, or if you have it down there, all these things can change how long your potential customer is going to spend on your landing page, and if they're going to leave or not. Because the thing is, you are not going to have time to explain why your product is better. So this is another thing that I keep seeing, with founders. Like, founders are so absorbed, onto their own product. They know their own product so well that they think anyone can understand the product in 2 seconds. So sometimes, instead of explaining in a clear way, they want to do this conceptual, designs, or they want to tell like a story that doesn't really explain, the benefits at first. So you are not going to have a second chance to make a good first impression. And first impression psychology shows that users, viewers, they can form impressions in less than a second, let's say. So we say 3 seconds, 5 seconds for someone to analyze a landing page, but the first impression is going to be in 50 milliseconds. And this could be the difference between, the person is staying or leaving. It depends on your industry. If there are many competitors, for example, this could be the difference between, customer choosing you and going straight to the next page. So within a few seconds, as you can see here, they might already feel, that your competitor's page is clearer, safer, easier to understand, and more worth their attention. This is back to what I said. Basically, we are fighting for attention. So we really need to make sure, we have everything like structured in a way that we are going to capture the attention of these viewers immediately. So before going into really like landing page, just to give like a clear, it's going to be a bit superficial, let's say, because obviously we don't have much time. We've got limited time. So I just want to get, into some general explanation what behavioral science is. And so behavioral science studies invisible decision patterns. So why people act the way they do beyond what they consciously realize. So this, we can go back to what I was talking when I was talking about surveys. Like, when you are taking a survey, even if it's an anonymous one, you are not going to be 100% aware of the things that made you choose what you chose. So you are never going to be 100% unbiased, right? Because you are just talking with your conscious mind. You are not talking with your subconscious mind. So that's why neuromarketing is very known for using tools that can track what the person is really thinking. So I don't know, maybe some of you are aware of these tools. We've got, for example, heat maps, we've got EEGs, we've got eye tracking. So these are tools that they are going to measure, the activity of your brain, not the activity of your opinions. So someone is going to look at your website, and we are going to see with a heat map, for example, we can see exactly where people are looking first. So, well, maybe I should change this image, because no one is looking at this one here. They are looking at another thing that is not important. So we can see these patterns. So this is what behavior science studies. It combines psychology, neuroscience, behavior economics, and cognitive science. So what we do is we try to understand how humans really make decisions when they are under stress, under uncertainty, attention overload, and risk. Because as I said, when someone lands on your landing page, 100% sure they are not going to be, meditating with, nothing happening around them. And so you need to know how to fight with this attention overload, with kids, asking for attention, or if you're working from home, hundreds of things, happening that you have to stop, and then you forget what you were doing. So we are all living, in this era, let's say, that we have to fight for attention. This changes everything in marketing, right? Once you understand how the brain reacts to information, trust, effort, and uncertainty, you can build experiences that feel naturally easier to engage with. So just to give you some real life examples, this is one that I really like. This involves so this is not talking about landing page, but just for you to have an idea of what behavioral science is and neuromarketing is. Before studying neuromarketing, this was a thing that I had in my mind. Like, why supermarkets, they place bakeries at the end of the supermarket. And I was really annoyed, because in many cultures, it's very kind of common for people to buy, croissants or bread every single day. It's an everyday product. So why I would have to walk, the whole supermarket to get to the bakery? Why they don't put it just in front of the supermarket to make my life easier? And then when I started studying this, this was one of the examples. This was maybe 5 years ago, and one of the first examples that one of my teachers gave us at that time. And I was shocked. I was like, really? We've been influenced by neuromarketing strategies every day when you don't even know. The bakery is at the end of the supermarket. Well, for two reasons that for me now they're obvious, but they were not before. One thing being one everyday product, you place at the end, so you make people, walk all the aisles, and then you're going to have the impulsive buyers, impulsive purchases. So basically, you just go to the supermarket to buy bread, but then you walk through the aisles, and then you're going to see, I don't know, oh, maybe I forgot a deodorant, and maybe I forgot, I don't know, baby wipes, and you are going to buy these things that you're not meant to buy. So this is one of the reasons. The second reason, and I was surprised to know that most of the bakeries, they even produce artificial smell for the bread, because this activates, the sense of comfort, and the sense of home, and the sense of like, okay, I'm in a safe place because this smell is familiar, and this smell is something that I like. So it activates so many things, in sensory marketing, we call it in neuromarketing. So it activates so many areas of your brain
Crash cravings.
that this makes you buy even more. Right. So sorry, what did you
Yeah.
say?
I said crash cravings, like I go
Yeah.
to the malls and the big marketplaces, and then I shop, like crazy, and then I stop by. So you guess when you smell certain things, you get like sudden, crash cravings. I call it crash cravings
Yes.
because all of a sudden you just smell and then you want it, right? So that's how the psychology works behind a buying perspective, I believe. So
Yeah, yeah. So this sensory marketing is a big thing. I don't know if you've heard. Not long ago, there was a campaign. I think it was in London that it actually went wrong. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, because this was not part of the webinar. But yeah, there was a company that they created like a smell on the tube, and then it went wrong. Because people started feeling like dizzy because of the smell. But there are some very
yeah.
big brands. For example, yeah, maybe you were aware of it. I think it was a month ago, but there were some good brands and big brands like the Brazilian one, Melissa, the shoes brand. They realized that if they gave a particular smell to their plastic sandals, that people would correlate that to their childhood. So yeah, there are many companies doing this type of stuff. But well, I will just go through this quickly because obviously we need to focus on the landing page today.
Everything comes back to the main point that it's human to human connection, emotions, like
Yeah.
waking up all the emotions that you have, and you have something, for example, a product that you can relate to instantly, either by feeling it or smelling it. It all leads you to the right emotion, the psychology behind the buying intent,
And the
right? So
safety.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So there are many companies, like the big ones nowadays. Obviously, all of them are using customer behavior, to analyze. They are using data, obviously, but they are also using psychology, to increase to create new features and to create new ways to get our attention. So again, not talking about landing page, but Netflix, for example, one of the things that is it's crazy to see like one small thing can change everything. Like one thing that they did years ago was to start with the autoplay, right? So if you're watching a series, you don't have to stop when it finished, like the first episode. You don't have to go and click again and play again, and find the next episode. So they reduced friction. When reducing friction, what happens is our brain is on this constant reward loop. So you are getting this reward all the time, And then this increases the retention, this increases the engagement. So one little thing. So you see, most of the companies that they are boom, Dubai chocolate, Apple as well. So most of them, there were little things that were thought based on customer psychology, and this changes the whole thing. So one example, yes, this autoplay. Amazon is very big on customer behavior as well. They have always been very big at customer behavior. So for example, the social proof has always been there. So the fact that you can see what other people are talking about the product. So all these small things, they removed extra steps as well, to reduce friction. So reduce friction, I think, is like first and foremost one of the most important things, for homepage and for landing page. But yeah, so these were just some examples. So just before we start talking specifically about landing page, obviously, as I said, we don't have much time. So I would highly recommend all of you to go to YouTube and watch this video. If you type Neuromarketing Quantum, you're going to find it. This is an interview, and they are talking about what neuromarketing is and how we are living this every single day as customers without even realizing, and what brands are doing, to try to read your mind and to increase their conversions. So, right, I don't know if you've got any questions for now, because I've just been talking nonstop.
Yeah, so Mary, that's a beautiful start to the psychology behind landing pages. I mean, the emotions that you highlighted are really relevant to the buyer psychology. I always emphasize on human to human connection. Uh, when you have an amazing product or you have a service that is actually solving a problem, and you're actually relatable when you're reaching out, or your product is visible, or your service is visible, or you do marketing for yourself. So before we dive deeper into behavioral principles, I think this is a good place to ask something many marketers struggle with. What behavioral differences do you usually notice between a homepage and a dedicated landing page?
Well, I would say first, even before the neuromarketing strategies that are like, yeah, usually they are serving different purposes, right? So the homepage, the landing page is something more specific, right? So usually a landing page is a place you land after you clicked on an ad or you clicked on, social media. So usually you go there for a specific purpose. Because of that, you are not going to be, you have to be very fast. So I would say from a neuromarketing point of view, the landing page needs to be much more focused and much more clear. So clearer than a homepage, because obviously you are there just serving a purpose. So let's say, for example, CTAs, according to neuromarketing, CTAs on a landing page, they have to be just one. So you are not asking people like on the fold, learn more and then shop here and then follow us. So this is something that it would be different on a homepage. On a homepage, yes, you can spread this attention to different places because usually you are talking about your company, your different types of services, your different types of offerings. On a landing page, you really need the person to understand very fast and to be very, very clear on what you want to do, what you want them to do next. The homepage, it depends, because they might be interested in one of your services, or maybe they are interested on your blog, or, just wondering who you are. So they want to go to the About Us. Why on the landing page? Yeah, you do have to be very clear on what you want them to do next. So, but both of them are going to need the same signals we are going to see here. The trust, the easy, the low cognitive overload. So both of them are going to need the same things, but in a slightly different, way, because they are different purposes. So, right, okay. Starting with landing page, we are going to look into those signals one by one. So, oops, I just clicked too much. So yeah, high performing landing pages are rarely successful by accident. As I said, it's not about being beautiful, the ones really converting. And I can tell you 100% because I've been working with hundreds, if not thousands of landing pages for different industries, especially for supplements, for prop firms, I used to work with education before, so apps like Elsa Speak, apps teaching English for people. So basically, I've worked with many, many, many different types of businesses and landing pages, and all of them, all of the ones that are really successful, they really converge. They have kind of the same ingredients. So they are not the same thing. Obviously, they are adapted to each industry, but the main features and the main signals are exactly the same, and they are not put together to look good. Obviously, the idea is to look good while you're doing all these things, but having in mind that it's just more than just adding some blocks, throwing images in there and thinking why is this not converging? So yeah, today we are going to explore how behavior science shapes the way users perceive and interact with landing pages. So starting with the first signal. So this is, I would say, the most important one. So that's why I put it first. And this is trust, right? So basically, our brain, we still have this primitive part of our brain, the amygdala and the limbic system, that is making decisions for us, right? So these two parts, what they are doing, and they have always done in history. It's like even when we like medieval era, let's say, when we had to scan for animals or people had to scan for, is there enough food? So this is something that the brain still does. The first thing the brain does is to scan for risk. What does it mean when we talk about landing page? So this means, like, obviously it's not, oh my God, am I going to be, I don't know, robbed because of this? No, it's like, am I going to waste my time on this? Am I going to waste my money on this? Or even worse, if I click this button, maybe I'm going to be redirected to a porn website, So there are some websites, especially these ones that they sell their space for, Google ads, or they sell their space for different types of advertisement. You don't feel safe enough to click on the page because obviously you don't know where they are going to take you. So first thing we need to take into consideration is risk and safety. How safe people feel when landing on your page. Does this feel professional? So this is going to include colors, paddings, So if you see this example here, probably, I don't know if everyone is going to agree, but I would say most people would say this is a professional page. The colors, very clear, very light, and we can see trust signals here. We don't know this company, right? It's impossible to know it because I generated all these images by AI. So they don't exist, any of them. I don't know. I haven't heard of this company, but I can see here that they are trusted by companies that I know. So instantly, your brain is going to believe this is a trustable, a reliable company. If you haven't worked with big people like this, so for example, my association, we are just starting. We are, literally just building the website. We haven't worked with these people, but then we are talking about these big people that are using neuromarketing. So we are not saying they are using us, but they are using the same science that we are using. So this immediately creates a feeling of, okay, they are professional. They can be trusted. Does this feel safe to engage with? Again, if I click this, am I going to be taken to maybe the payment? This happens to me 2 weeks ago. I'm using Higgsfield. My team is using Higgsfield for AI videos. I clicked a button. In 1 second, I had paid $1,500, right? Because it just took me to a place. I wasn't signing up for this, but then I had the credit card in there. I clicked something that said something completely different, and then they didn't give me a refund, right? So I wasn't trusting, the page anyway, but unfortunately, that's the one we are using now. But is this brand credible, legitimate? This is another thing. So, for example, having social media as well, sometimes it's not very relevant for your business. Maybe you are in tech and you say, I don't need an Instagram, I don't need a LinkedIn page. But this also help people obviously trust your company and see you're genuine, So if they see your landing page, and if you have your social media links in there, make sure these links are working and they are leading people to at least a clear social media. It doesn't need to be a super engaging one. If you are selling, I don't know, if it's a software, it doesn't need to be like a super engaging, but at least if you have a social media, it needs to be one that people can see you're genuine. Otherwise, they can lose trust. They can say, well, So it's better to remove, the links if you don't have them uploaded, because people can lose trust because of that. Reviews are here as well. So yeah, basically, if uncertainty feels high, people are going to leave. I've got two examples here. They are selling exactly the same thing. So they are selling create amazing AI videos, create amazing AI videos. The first one, I would say most people would agree that this is kind of more professional and it's more what we would expect from a tech company. And this we have to be very careful, with the choice of colors. We do expect tech companies to be purple, blue, dark, very dark features and futuristic features. This immediately makes us feel this is a tech company. So that's a good thing. At the
Yeah,
same time, you do have to be careful not to blend in and to be exactly the same as all your competitors. So
yeah,
you're going to say something, right? Sorry.
yeah. That comparison really looks clean because people don't have that much time to sit and try to find what solution they're trying to find already if that's not visible. So the
Yeah.
more you're visible, clear with all of the credibility that you have. I can give an example like a lot of big companies are on Trustpilot other than having their social medias being having some face videos as well. Their
Yeah.
co-founder CEO was big building trust among their audience, but they do have their trust pilot because people would love to learn more about them, and they've given them the opportunity to more learning about their company, what they are, what they do, how they help, and how they've been in the business for how long. So it really helps. And I've got a
Yeah.
quick question over here. A lot of smaller businesses or newer brands might be listening and thinking this makes sense, but what if we don't have the hundreds of reviews or big client logos? How can smaller businesses still build trust effectively?
Right. Yeah, that's a question that I get like quite a lot, because yeah, this happens very much with startups. So what I usually advise people to do is, as my own example, for example, this could be a possible thing. So I'm building the in association website. I don't have clients for now because we are just building. So we are associating the science to these companies, but being very clear, we don't want to mislead people to think that we are working with these companies, but no, these companies are using what we are talking about. So you can try to find one thing is to try to find one of these associations that you can say, okay, this has been seen in this type of thing, this type of intelligence, or this type of products that we are using has been seen in this place. Or if it's a supplement, for example, okay, this type of supplement has been mentioned by Huberman. So basically try to do these associations. If not possible, and what I had before, when because I do consulting as well, what I had before is like companies, let's say that you are a consulting company or a new agency, marketing agency. So what I usually advise people to do is to give free stuff at the beginning in exchange of reviews, because you are not paying them, so you're not doing anything wrong. You are offering the service, and then you're just asking for clear feedback. So, for example, one thing that is quite, and then people go like, okay, how can I find these people? So usually, it obviously depends on the industry, but I would say one way to do it is like post a post on LinkedIn saying, look, we are just starting. We are offering a free session. We are offering a free trial of this product, for a company. Just contact us, and then if you can boost this post, is even better. Sometimes, for $10, 10 pounds per day, you can boost a post, and you can have like loads of people coming to talk to you. Take 2 or 3 of them, tell them the truth. Look, this is experimentation, or we are just starting, we don't have any customers, would you like to try? And give your honest feedback. If the feedback is not good, obviously you're going to try another one, and you're going to iterate and use this to keep getting better, and then to give to more people. So usually that's what I tell people to do. If it's products, physical products, exactly the same. Just send some samples, ask people. This is what we do, like on TikTok, for example. Just send some samples, ask people, to review the samples if they are good, and then you get their permission, to share their reviews, to share their opinions on your website. So this could
So
be a way.
That's an amazing response to the question. That really makes
Oh,
sense. I've got a
thank you.
client who owns a small business. Before he stepped into the business, he mentioned and he shared the story with me. So I'd like to share it with you because it's very relevant. So he said that I didn't have any clients, any logos, any sample work and stuff. So what I did is like I offered 100 people free services, and that way I had like 30, 50 logos and samples real time, not fake created case studies. And then I built my website and I had all of them on my website. So this is how small businesses think. There's no harm in offering free services when you don't have any credibility, right? Because
Yeah,
that way you're building the credibility in real time free of cost. You're not spending anything.
yeah,
It's just your skills, your knowledge, and the work that you've been doing and you love doing. So it definitely makes sense.
exactly. Yeah, and this leads to another thing, webinars are a great way as well. So you can just, if you specialize in something, just go on Meta Ads and spend $50, £50 per day for 3 days maybe, and then you can ask people to join your webinar. And during your webinar, you can explain
Yeah,
to them, you can offer all these people from the webinar, a free trial at the end. So yeah, there are kind of ways to do it.
absolutely.
So talking, just finishing talking about trust, this in the next screen, if you want, all of you, if you want to take a screenshot or to take a photo of them, I would recommend you to do it. And then after this, when you have some time, just go point by point, look at your landing page if you have them already, and just go and check. Obviously you don't have to have all of them, but check how many of these things you have on your page so you can assess how reliable, how much people can trust your landing page. Because as I said, founders, they always think they are doing it right because they have their products, on their minds. They know everything. They trust themselves. But sometimes that's not how the messaging is coming across. So go and do these things. Um, Actions here you can apply today. Add trust signals near the CTA. So trust signals can be guarantees, for example. So yes, you can have a free trial, 3 days. Be very clear. They can cancel this after the 3 days, because I think we've all been there, right? Like free trial and then getting charged, and then you cannot get a refund. So, and then you are never going to trust this company anymore, So yes, make sure this is very clear. Make pricing easy to understand immediately. That's very annoying, especially for SaaS. Some companies, once again, Hicksfield, when I was trying to find the pricing last week, this is when I purchased it by mistake, because I was trying to get an enterprise price, and you cannot find it. It needs to be a custom price. And then you talk to them, and then I had free salespeople talking to me, different things. So until today, I haven't bought for the next month because I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to pay. So be very, very clear with your pricing. If it's customized, it's okay, but make sure you're going to respond, your customer as soon as they ask the question. Because if people are on your landing page, they are already with the intent, most of them. And if they want to buy, they want to buy right now, right? They don't want to wait to have the price. If you are very fast and you reply to the request afterwards, amazing. If it takes you 3 days, 5 days, like it took me, they might be with the competitor, right? So show secure checkout or payment. Yeah, just make sure, all related to payment is very, very secure. If you can offer, money back. So supplements, we do this a lot, 60 days, you can try it. If you don't like it, no question asked. Just send it back and your money is going to be back as well. Recognizable logos when possible, press mentions when possible. For press mentions, you can go on websites and buy guest posts. This is something that you can do at the beginning, accessibly. I think it's one of the websites that we were using. So basically you choose websites with high domain authority. You can choose them and you can just go and pay £100 or 200 depending on the website, and have your company mentioned there. So this could be a way to start as well. Avoid stock or AI photos that feel generic. Obviously, you can use AI photos. If you are selling skincare, for example, please don't use AI photos, because AI avatars don't have skin. But if you are on tech, yeah, it's okay as long as they don't feel generic or artificial. Add guarantees returns or free trial messaging. This is crazy, but I've seen so many websites with spelling mistakes, like with typos. It's crazy, especially companies that are international and they use the automatic translation service, and then they don't check. So if, especially, even this sounds a bit silly as well, but this is a sign of trust for some people. If you're using English, make sure it's British English or American English, because some companies they go realize with an S and then realize with a Z, and then you
Yeah,
don't know if it's a machine. It's a machine.
that's it.
You don't trust it's a person, writing, because it's not consistent. So be consistent. And just if you want to do the automatic translation, it's okay. Hire a freelancer for 1 hour and say, please read the whole website and make sure we are not saying anything stupid. There are no grammar mistakes, because a grammar mistake, for me, for example, as a customer, a grammar mistake, for me, it's like an immediate no. For me, it's such a, such a problem.
Yeah.
Include, so yeah, include an about us or founder section. If you can have photos, even better, because people relate to people. They want to see the team is real. They want to see who is behind it. Avoid unrealistic claims or fake urgency. Use UGC instead of overly polished content. Keep branding visually consistent and include testimonials. Right. So this, as I said, if you can just take a screenshot or a photo and then go to your landing page and to your website and check if you are doing some or most of these things. Right. So going forward and talking about clarity, I would say this is the one where companies miss the point, like, entirely, especially the ones that are scientific based. So again, going back to supplements, there are many supplements in longevity nowadays, and they are all backed by science, research. And then you go to the website and you don't understand a word they are saying. It makes sense for them. It might make sense for someone that is a biologist, but for the average customer, it doesn't. So the brain is constantly looking for the easiest path, because the brain rewards simplicity. If they are struggling to understand what you are selling, they are going to leave. If they don't understand here, like the hero banner, if they don't understand what this is about, they are going to leave. The brain is going to ask, what does this company do? Especially SaaS, tech. Sometimes, people reach out to me and they go, okay, look at my landing page. I think it's great. And I go like, I cannot even understand what you do, and I'm not, usually I'm a bit smart, usually I can get things very fast and I can't understand. And they go, why not? We do this and that. Okay. So this is what you have to tell people, know what you are saying on your website. How would you explain your service to your grandmother or to your neighbor that knows nothing about the industry? So this is the way you have to talk to your customer, because your average customer, we used to say that you have to write for a third grade reader, because people are not used to complex words, or okay, let's just wait for them to read and they can see how scientific we are, they can see how kind of posh we are. No, their brain wants to understand it quickly. So just make the message simple, just the way I ask them, oh yeah, we do the okay, so this should be the messaging, not what is in there. People also want to see, where should I look, what happens next. That's very important. Some page you don't landing page, you don't even know, okay, should I take a quiz, or should I buy, or should I read the blog or follow them on social media? And why does this feel mentally tiring? So cognitive overload, again, is how easy is for our brain to process information. If it's too difficult for us to process, we just leave, because it's just too much. So I've got two examples here, and I like this example because in terms of design, I think both of them look pretty. They look beautiful. The colors are great. So from a layout point of view, yeah, we could say, oh, both of them can work, but they are 100% different here. And we are going to see why. This one here, they are selling the same thing, right? They are selling a serum for the face. This one here, glowing skin every day, glow renewal serum. It explains exactly what it does. A daily serum that visibly smooths, hydrates, and brings out your natural glow. So I know what they're doing. What are the benefits? Hydrates deeply, improves tone and texture. Oh, that's what I need. You see, I need to improve my texture. Boost natural glow. Shop the serum. So it's all aligned. While you look at this one, future of skin, that doesn't really mean anything. Look, clinically advanced. Oh, so they've done some research and I can trust them, right? This one, future of skin. What the hell is future of skin? Glow different, right? The next level formula for healthy skin. What does healthy skin mean? You see, it's very generic. And then you take the quiz. Which quiz? That's not clear at all. Which quiz? We are talking about a serum. So why should I take a quiz? While this one, the first one, look, want to know your skin age, take a 1 minute quiz. And what am I going to get? Get a personalized recommendation. So you see the messaging is 100% different. Although visually they are kind good. Then the second one here, you see you plus us better together. We keep it simple, you get real results. Clean ingredients, smart science, and shop now. Which one should I click on? There are three things for me to click on here. I don't know which one I'm going to choose. And we suffer from decision paralysis. Literally, if there are too many options, usually people leave instead of, go to the free options. So founders, designers, marketers, they really have to think of ways of how to simplify the messaging. Once you simplified your design, is not cluttered, you are sure that the trust signs are there. Okay, so let me look at my messaging. Let me look at what I'm saying. Is it easy to understand? So some things you can apply today. Again, you can take a screenshot of this. As I said at the beginning, keep one primary goal per landing page. So if they want them to take the quiz, just focus on them taking the quiz. Don't ask them to follow you on social media. Don't ask them, sorry. Reduce decision paralysis, limit choices. This happened to me 2 weeks ago. I was in Cape Town. There is a restaurant called Gibson's, probably some of you know it, and they are Guinness record because they've got the most options of milkshakes on earth. And I swear to God, I'm not lying. I've been there 3 times because my kids love it, and it's quite social proof is a big thing again, because it was the one with more people always. So we always felt like safer to go there instead of the others around it. And then they had literally 10 pages of milkshakes. And I swear I couldn't choose. 3 times I've been there, I couldn't choose a milkshake because when I was going to choose, it was time to order, it was going to take too long. Decision paralysis is real. So if you can limit the choices of your customer, is much better. Don't offer them 5 choices. If it's pricing, offer 3. Usually we've got the middle one. In neuromarketing, we know that having a middle one, it makes people usually trust the middle one, like the French fries in McDonald's. Having the middle one makes you choose the middle one for loads of different neuromarketing reasons, but limit the choices. Use forms with as few fields as possible. That's another thing. If you're doing ads, landing page, whatever, don't ask, what's the size of your company? What's the industry of your company? No. If you want them to subscribe to a webinar, name, email, that's all you need, right? And you can do the rest afterwards. Remove unnecessary steps before conversion. Yeah, just remove any extra steps they might need to take. Use bullet points. That's super important. Use bullet points because it's easier for the brain to scan things. People don't want to read, right? People don't read and they don't want to read. So if it's in bullet points, it's easier for people to scan, to see the benefits, and to have it clear, what you're offering. Keep visual hierarchy clear with obvious focal points. Use simple language with low cognitive effort. So don't go into this elevate, unleash. Oh my God, I want to die when I see these words on a website. Unleash, unlock. Unless you are talking about something that you need to unlock physically, then yes. But unleash, delve, or it's not about this, it's about that. So be careful with this two kind of high effort AI words because they make people just look bad. Avoid cluttered sessions, too much text, no, too many visuals, no. Make buttons large and easy to tap on mobile. Another thing that happens a lot is people don't optimize for mobile, and there are loads of research showing that at least 70% of purchases, well, not all industries, but an average, let's say, at least 70% of purchases are made on mobile. So make sure your mobile is optimized, is not very cluttered. You don't have your hero banner with a photo and the text on there, because it's going to be difficult to read if it's white and white or if it's dark with dark. So be careful with all these things. Use fast loading pages to reduce abandonment. Keep spacing consistent depending on the industry. More padding is better. Having more white spaces make it look more scientific, or makes it look more posh, like more rebuscated. Use white space to reduce cognitive overload. Prioritize clarity over creativity. That's another thing. Remember that we need clarity. That's the first thing. Not being creative. You can be creative as well, as long as your messaging is clear. And keep navigation minimal, or just remove some stuff to keep it kind of easier for people. Right, and that's all on clarity. I don't know if you have any questions. You have a break of my voice.
Absolutely. No, that was amazing information, very informative. There are so many things companies can optimize the landing page. How should businesses prioritize what to fix first? Like, if there's a new business owner and they have a new website, so the web developer might want them to lead it, and you might want to, as a business owner, lead the developer to how the landing page should sound like. So what are the very few priority fixes that they should focus on?
Right, I would say first thing is, as I said, these signals, all of these, trust, social proof, clarity, this should all be there, but you don't need loads of things for each one of them. So for example, for trust, they can add one feature. Maybe it's something saying trusted by 20,000 customers, or is the review. So that's the first thing. They do have to use the signals, but they don't need to use every single thing about the signals. And the second thing, I think, is it depends on the industry. So if I'm talking to, when I was consulting with prop firms, right? So trading, traders, money, we are talking finances. The most important thing for them is trust. It's not in social proof as well. So I can see other traders saying that they are not fake. They are not a fake prop firm. They are not a fake company. So I would prioritize, adding elements of trust and adding elements of social proof. Clarity, well, clarity is just the messaging. So the messaging for everyone, it needs to be clear. It doesn't matter the industry. But this is what I would do. And when I say I would prioritize, it's like the hierarchy. So for example, for a prop firm, maybe the most important thing first is to have the trust elements, and to make sure they are not going to lose their money, right? They don't want to pay and then lose their money. So this is the most important thing. If you are selling something we are going to see an example very soon. If you are selling things for moms, for mothers, probably the most important thing is to see reviews of other mothers, because you trust these parents. Yeah, they did it and it's safe for my kids. So safety in this sense, other people did it and it worked, is the first thing. So it depends on the industry. You can just prioritize what you're going to put first. But all the signals should be there somehow, not with all the features. Otherwise, the long page would be like a Bible, very, very long and difficult to read. So
beautifully said.
Right. Great, thank you. So going into emotional reward, I'm going to do this a bit faster because I tend to talk too much and then we can be here for 5 hours. So super, super, super important for everyone to understand this, that people do not buy products only for functionality. This is one of the reasons, obviously, but we buy things because we want to feel something after the decision. And let me explain myself. Even so, you might be thinking well, but I sell, I don't know, a software, for, I don't know, an AI software that helps with your leads. Still, I'm going to buy this because I want to make my life easier. I want to have more sales. I want to have more leads, So I'm buying this for the benefit that this is bringing to me. I'm not buying you because of your features. I'm going to buy you because your features are going to bring the benefits. And many companies, they forget this and they sell features, they don't sell benefits. So you have to have in mind that people always, the brain is going to scan for these questions. How will this make my life easier? Or if it's clothing, or if it's something like physical, will this make me more attractive or more successful in life? Will this reduce stress or frustration? How will this improve my daily tasks or routine? So it doesn't matter the industry, your product or your software or your physical product, they are going to help people somehow. And people need to know exactly how this is going to work. So this is a great example here. Look, we build landing pages that turn your ads into customers. Perfect. This is what all I need. I need landing pages. I need customers from my ads. That's what I need. So they already they have me here, with one sentence. And then they go conversion focused landing page designed specifically for your ad campaign. And look at this, more relevant clicks, more leads, more sales. That's exactly what I need. So these are the benefits their pages are going to give me. They could go about like, oh, we build landing page with AI technology, that makes the landing page be okay, right. That's good. That comes after, the logic comes after. But the first thing is, what are they going to do for me? So for me, this is a very good example, right? I don't know if it's the best one in terms of design. Maybe I could be a bit less cluttered, or maybe an image here, but that's a good example of benefits. So if you look into this one, you can clearly see the difference. Again, in terms of design, they are acceptable, both of them. This one, the first one, the orange one, I don't know if you see my arrow. The first one, maybe too much here. They could have less things here. But look, they are saying we build high converting landing pages that save you time and get you more sales. Everyone wants this. All companies want that, to save time and to get more sales. Done for you landing page, built for your ads, designed to convert, built to scale your results. So you see, they put the bullet points here. Save time, more leads, more sales. That's amazing messaging. That's amazing, because this is what people need. And they should be leading with this, the benefits and the emotional reward that the person is going to have after buying this specific product. The another one, well, it's called the same name because, as I said, I generated all of this with AI. So I'm just realizing they are ad launch, both of them. So the second one, they're just saying landing page construction. We build custom landing page designed for your ad campaigns. So you see, they are not saying they are going to save my time. They're not saying they are going to give me more leads, more sales. They're not saying anything. They're just saying they're just giving me the tool, the feature. I don't want a tool. Yeah. I want something that is going to benefit, to bring benefit for my company and for myself. So this, again, is just easy to trick because it's just about messaging. You don't need to go to your UX designer and say, look, redo everything. No, go to your messaging and analyze, is it clear enough? Can people trust this message? And can they see the emotional reward? Can they see the benefits that my product is going to bring to them? So again, some actions you can apply today. Once again, if you want to keep this page, you can go and then check your website. Use headlines, focus on benefits, not features. Reinforce how the product improves everyday life. Make the next step feel easy and low commitment. This is also very important, because when you feel that, oh my God, if I subscribe to this, I will have to commit, to have like a high commitment. I will have to pay for a year, so make sure people understand that it's easy to be with you and with your company. Show the product benefit immediately above the fold. Don't wait, because people don't scroll. Remember that you've got milliseconds, to impress people. The benefits should be one of the first things that they see. Show the product in use, not only isolated product shots. So if it's something physical, if it's food, if it's, a shampoo, for example, just show the product in use. One thing that helps is, for example, having models looking at your product, because naturally we human beings, we tend to go follow like the gaze of people. If something happens on the street and everyone is looking to the sky, you are going to look at the sky as well. You might look ridiculous, but yeah, you are going to do it for sure. So the brain tends to follow the gaze of other people. So showing the model looking at your product is one of the good things that you can do. Use models to look like your buyer persona. So if you are selling to a specific persona, this is one of the first things companies should do, is to have a persona or different personas. But then if you're selling to 30 to 40 years old, again, talking about like supplements, right? My current company that I'm a director, we sell supplements for 30 to 40 years old people. So you are not going to have photos of 18-year-old people using the supplement, because your persona, your potential buyer is not going to relate. So it needs to be relatable. If you think your company, the goal is people in Asia, try to use Asian, models. If you think, they are, so it's the background, the ethnicity, the age, just try to make them relatable, because this plays a huge, huge role in the brain. Prioritize emotional connection, as I said before. Focus on outcomes like confidence, relief, convenience, or status, as Apple does. Use first CTAs. That's another one, super easy to change, and it makes a difference. Start my trial or get my results, so people can feel it's personalized. They are talking to me. I'm going to get my results. Make the landing page emotionally aligned with the audience lifestyle and desires. Use visuals that help users imagine the transformation. And as I said, make models look towards the product or CTA to guide attention naturally. Right. And we've got the last one. I don't know if you have any questions. I'm going to turn the AC on because it's too hot here.
Yeah, absolutely. One debate marketers always seem to have is around page length. From your experience, do long landing pages usually convert better than shorter ones? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I don't know. I cannot talk about like names and numbers right now, because I don't have this data here. But yes, there are research that they do show the longer landing page convert better. But the thing is, even if they are longer, so I'm always up for longer landing pages. But even if they are longer, it doesn't mean that people are going to scroll until the end, right? So you have to concentrate. I would say the first, obviously, the hero, the banner is the most important one. Then you've got like the first 3 blocks are the most important ones. So you want to make sure like you have all kind of small signals in there. But then it is, so as I said, it's not a personal opinion. Well, it is as well, because I've seen, shorter landing pages and longer, and the longer usually perform better. That's true. But yeah, but there are, I cannot point to the research right now, but there are research showing the longer landing pages convert better than shorter. So, right.
Absolutely. I've
Okay.
got the same opinion. Like you've got like around 10 to 15 seconds when someone comes to your website or your landing page to decide if they want to stay or move back to something else relevant, more
Yeah.
relevant. I think it's not like dependent on the length of the content. It's more about the clarity and the value that it's going to bring for the user who's on your landing page. If there's no value, if the content is not value driven and you've got thin content, then that's going to be a problem. People want to just skip that and to something that is more relevant. So this is incredibly insightful, Mary, so far.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Right. So yeah, I do have the last point. We touched it a bit on this point because some of the signals, obviously, they kind of overlap. So when we were talking about trust, we were also talking about social validation. So I don't know if some of you probably have seen, there are many videos of experiments, social experiments, where you see like there are 5 people, 4 of them are actors, and one is just like a normal person being tested. And then there's like an experiment, and then these 4 people do something strange, and the person that didn't know, the person that doesn't know they are actors, goes and do the same strange thing. because they want to feel validated. They want to be part of the group, and no one wants to stand out in the sense of, oh, am I the odd one out? Why everyone is doing this and I'm doing a different thing. So this is incredible, because even, you see, that's what I also say about like conscious and unconscious, because consciously this is ridiculous, like for me, I don't care if I'm the only different one. If I know I'm right, I'm going to stand on my opinion, but actually your subconscious is saying another thing. Your subconscious wants to be part of the group and wants to feel validated. So social validation, which we also can call social proof, it's incredibly important. So people rarely want to feel alone in a decision. Humans are deeply influenced by collective behavior. So when we look at a page, we go like, are real people using this? Because if, like my page at the moment, I don't have many reviews because we just started, and this is a problem, because how can people trust that yes, we exist and we are really, if they press like pay something, how they know that we are not going to just send them to like a black hole, So are real people using this? Would someone like me buy this? So I have to relate with the person, So as I said, look, this is for mothers, for parents. And I actually bought one of these dolls before, because I've got 4 kids. And yeah, it didn't work. But the reviews convinced me, because they had videos of mothers. Well, maybe I didn't use it right. But yeah, you do have to kind of relate with these reviews as well, and to see they are genuine. Are the reviews believable? Has this product, has this produced real results? So social proof reduces perceived risk. So again, it goes back to trust. If other people are saying that they used and this is good, it might be good, right? Even if I like down there, deep there, down there, deep down, Jesus Christ. Anyway, even if we kind of know these are not, maybe they're not genuine, but if they are not there, it's worse. It's the same for Instagram followers or TikTok followers. It's like, maybe we see these companies, they've got 100,000 followers, and then you analyze it, you use these tools, and you see that 70% of them are fake followers, but it's still, consciously knowing that they are fake followers. My subconscious, even being aware of this, my subconscious is, well, but they do have 100,000, they might be something. So it's just impossible to trick the brain in this kind of things. We do believe when we see bigger numbers, we do believe when we see other people talking about it, even if deep inside we know that they might be not genuine, or this might be UGC videos, they just paid for these people for the reviews, but they do have to be there. Looking into these 2 examples here. So the first one, once again, this banner is saying too much. The headline is too long. But yeah, they are giving the benefits right here. Help your baby fall asleep in 20 minutes or less and stay asleep longer. That's amazing. Very clear messaging. I would probably remove, this paragraph to make it shorter. But then look, the first thing that they have here is the trust signals, trusted by 30 plus moms worldwide. They've got as seen in the places that they've been seen. And then they've got real results. And it's amazing because they have photos of the babies plus videos of the mothers. So immediately, this is what I don't really buy many things online. I don't really buy many things like in general, but I'm very kind of minimalist. But I bought one of these dolls, and I still can't believe I bought it. And it was because of this. It's crazy, sometimes they just trick your mind and you go, yeah, if they're all saying this. This one is visually beautiful, the second one. So very, very beautiful. You can see, the product is kind of the same. You see the baby is very cute. But then look, help your baby fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. They're not giving the specific 20 minutes thing. A soothing sleep companion, la la la. So yeah, okay, that's kind of okay. But then if you scroll down, there are no reviews. What they've got instead is how Dreamy Doll works. I don't want you to see how it works now. I might want to see how it works after I bought, right? So what I want to see is the benefits and if it's true that it works. And then when I purchase this, then I'm going to worry about, okay, how does it work? Does it need like a battery or, So this is a big difference for the brain, huge difference. And this first one, 100% will convert better than this one. So tips for
Absolutely, yeah.
people. These are the last ones, I promise, so you don't get too bored. But yes, if you want to take screenshots, so these are actions you can apply to your page today. Use testimonials with real names, photos. Obviously, as we said before, if you don't have them, ask, maybe just give free stuff. Or even if you want to use friends at the beginning, this is also okay, as long as they are genuine. They are not, you are not, what is the word for it, like producing, you are not teaching them what they have to say, because this is obviously no what is the word for it, I completely forgot. Anyway, use testimonials that overcome specific objections or fears. That's a good thing as well. So go into, like, spend some time thinking about what possible objections my customers would have with my product. Or maybe it's too expensive, or maybe it's going to take too long to get here, or maybe, so make a list of the objections your customers might have, and then try to have the testimonials talking about these objections. So maybe someone's saying, well, the price is a bit higher than the competitor, but it's worth it because it really works, better than the others I've tried. Or if it's going to be, the delivery is going to be, I don't know, in Mauritius, where I am at the moment, there's no delivery, you never get anything. It's crazy. But then you can have someone saying, oh, they have the option of next day delivery. So it's 100% guaranteed that you're going to get your product. So try to use these testimonials to overcome specific objections. This works really, really well. Avoid linking to empty or outdated social media accounts. Yeah, I mentioned this before. Include industry awards, certifications if you have them. Prioritize authenticity over perfection. Yeah, this is also for social media, for TikTok. Yeah, authenticity wins over perfection. Show recognizable brand logos, media mentions. Includes numbers, trusted by 30 customers or 10 years leading this industry or something like that. Use reviews that describe real outcomes and timelines. So this helped me get better in 3 months. So it's not you saying, you are not giving this guarantee to your customers. It's a customer itself saying, this helped me in 3 months to achieve, my goal. Show relatable people similar to the target audience. Place social proof close to CTA sections. Repeat validation throughout the page, not only once. So yeah, if possible, use different signals. Use case studies or before and after examples when relevant, if you are doing something physical. And highlight adoption and popularity to reduce uncertainty. Because as I said, even when we know we are right, we don't want to stand out we want to stand out in a way like, okay, you're brilliant, but usually our subconscious doesn't want to stand out in a way that you are perceived as the odd one out. So yeah, I think that was, oh my goodness. All right. So yes, do you have any more questions?
Perfect.
Oh, what happened? I'm not hearing you. I don't know if you are.
Yeah, perfect. So that was really insightful, and thank you so much, Mary. This was incredibly insightful and honestly packed with practical takeaways. And thank you as well to everyone who joined us live today. We really appreciate you spending your time with us. You'll also receive the full webinar recording directly in your email shortly, and the session will also be available on YouTube for replay. And if you'd like help building a landing page that actually converts, then Legend DigiTech team would love to help. And feel free to reach out to us after the session. Thank you, Mary, once again for joining
Thanks.
in and sharing all the experience knowledge that you had in the past years with us and with the audience. So we really loved it. And I'm looking forward to having another webinar soon next month with you on a different topic.
That would be
Thank you,
great.
everyone.
Perfect.
Have
Thank
a lovely
you.
day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.